everybody. This is Josh, and I am one half of Amazing Fantasy Football. Chris couldn't be here today. He chose to instead watch his daughter play in her polo tournament. So go Lady Dragons, and best of luck to the team or whatever they do in polo. I am here to bring you an amazing fantasy football eye on Chris Carson. As always in these videos, I wanted to, I watch all the game film on a specific player, and then I kind of give you guys some clips and show you what they can and can't do, their pluses, their minuses, and what that means moving forward into the 2021 season. So today I wanted to do Chris Carson because he's always been a bit of a blind spot to me, and I was doing some research for a show a couple weeks ago and found that Chris Carson was 15th, 11th, and 17th. And those are his finishes the last 3 seasons. And while that's not elite level finishes, that is in RB2 territory. And as we all know, RB2s are valuable on any fantasy roster. So I wanted to watch some Chris Carson footage and let you know what he has to bring to the table for the 2021 season. So let's roll that beautiful Chris Carson footage. In my first round of clips here, I wanted to show you all that Chris Carson definitely has some power to his game. So let's take a look at our first clip. Here we got Chris Carson running straight ahead into a sea of defenders, but he's so close to the end zone that he can just taste it. He runs straight forward for the touchdown! We've got another run up the middle here where Carson breaks through one defender and plows over another one to gain at least 5 more yards after the initial contact. In the last clip of the segment, Chris Carson bounces off to the left side of the line and shrugs off one defender before finally getting dragged down by a second defender. In this next set of clips, I wanted to show you guys that Chris Carson definitely had some catching ability. He's not Christian McCaffrey or like LaShawn McCoy back in the day, or, any of those receiving, quote-unquote, receiving backs. But he definitely can catch the ball, but he's not the greatest at it. So let's take a look at our first clip. Here we've got Chris Carson getting a little dump off where he does a good job following all his blockers on the way for a touchdown. I chose this next clip to show y'all that it's not just dump off passes that Carson gets from Russell Wilson. Here it's Russell Wilson doing one of his patented moon passes where he just launches the ball up in the air, and Chris Carson is right where the ball drops in the end zone for a touchdown. The last clip here, I've got Chris Carson doing a quick pass to CC, which is supposed to be a screenplay, and I know this ball's a little low, but man, Carson, you should have grabbed that one. This next segment, I wanted to show you guys that any running back in the NFL worth his salt has some pretty decent vision, which Carson does. So in this first clip, Carson starts by running off to the left and sees there's no room to go, and he shifts more towards the middle to gain an extra 6 to 7 yards on the play. Now we have Carson running up the middle where he sees trouble, cuts to the right again to avoid another defender before finally committing to running straight up field, and shows some of that power again here and muscles his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Lastly, we got Chris Carson cutting back north, heading towards the end zone with his eye on the prize, where he does a hop over defender to score again. These next check-out clips here, I wanted to show you guys that Chris Carson's one of his biggest problems is his offensive line woes. The Seattle Seahawks offensive line is not the greatest, as you're about to see here. These are only a few plays, but there was definitely quite a few where he only got a yard or less, and it just with better blocking, he could have done more with it. So in this first play, we have Carson heading straight up the middle and tries bouncing back to the left and is immediately brought down. Next, Carson is trying to find some room to run up the right, but Dallas gets immediate penetration, and one of the defenders is able to grab his foot and brought down immediately before he has any room to run. Next, he's trying to find some room on the right side of the line to run, but a Dallas defender gets penetration and grabs his foot before Carson can even get going. Now we have Philly just getting instant penetration from their front four. And lastly, it's the same story over again, and this time it's just the Jets instead of the Eagles. Lastly, I wanted to show you guys a couple of big plays from Chris Carson, the last being my favorite of the day. But first, let's start here. We've got CC getting the ball and sees a nice gap in the middle, hits the hole, and he is off. He does a crazy little juke shift to the left, before getting tackled. And as I said before, the last clip is my favorite clip. And this one, Carson starts by running to the right, but sees a hole to his left and starts heading upfield. Harrison Smith wraps him up, but Chris Carson just keeps churning his legs and breaks free of Harrison and scampers on in for the touchdown. Well, that's been our Chris Carson game film. The best thing I can say that I have watched significant Chris Carson film, whereas I haven't in the past. I'm not trying to take anything away from Chris Carson or his ability to be a running back in the NFL. He is certainly a capable back. He's just not one of those guys where you feel like you're watching someone super special, like a Barry Sanders or LaDainian Tomlinson, or even a more recent player in Saquon Barkley. But what I can say is that Chris Carson is one of those one-cut backs, and he's a bigger guy. He's got some speed, but he's not the fastest guy in the world. He can catch the ball, but he's definitely not a Christian McCaffrey in that regards. What I can say also is that what I've taken away from all this game film that I've watched is that there's two problems with him. The first being that he doesn't have the best offensive line. I know Pro Football Focus ranked Seattle's offensive line as 14th best. From what I saw, I see that he got met like right at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield a lot. So he didn't necessarily have the biggest room to run. And Carson's one of those guys that definitely needs a hole to open up for him. Yeah, he's a power back and he can power his way to some extra yards at times, but he's not super elusive like a LaShawn McCoy was back in the day. His second problem being that he misses a lot of time, I shouldn't say a lot, but he missed 4 games in 2020. He missed only one game in 2019, and he missed 2 in 2018. So he's one of those guys that in 2021 you can probably count on the fact that he'll miss a game or two. So that definitely is going to lower his value just a little bit. But the one thing I did take away is that if Seattle does boost their offensive line, whether it's in the draft or in this second wave of free agency, Carson should have some better holes to run through and therefore get more yardage and hopefully some more touchdowns. And if he were to stay healthy for 16 games like in 2020, if he would have played in those 4 games and continued that 14.1 points per game, half PPR of course, he would have ended up as running back 9 on the season. But he didn't, so he ended up as, I believe it was running back 16. So, and which is actually where he was drafted as the 16th running back off the board. Now, I don't know. That seems just a little low for Chris Carson. So the 16th running back off the board in 2020 was drafted like somewhere in the middle of the 3rd round. I would maybe put Carson as the end of the 2nd. So say you're drafting like the first 3 or 4 picks in the 1st round. You grab a Saquon Barkley, just to throw his name out there again. And you come back around on the turn, and so you're in the second half or the back half of the 2nd round. I wouldn't mind having Chris Carson as my 2nd pick, pair Chris Carson with a Saquon or an Alvin Kamara or something like that. He's one of those guys that he's just a real steady scorer when he is on the field. So I wouldn't really mind having him kind of anchor my backfield there and be a real nice foundation for my fantasy team in 2021. That's been my Eye On Chris Carson. As always, we have our main full-length episodes available also on podcast format. You can check us out pretty much wherever podcasts are available. You can check out Chris's Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/Hardware Dynasty, where he builds PCs and plays video games. Also, I just want everyone to say, stay safe, wear a mask, get a vaccine if you can. Don't be name brand specific with the vaccines. They're all good. Please just get vaccinated when you can. Until then, everyone, have a good day and stay safe.